Welcome back, everyone. Going to the third hour here. Zeke, he made a super, super important roll. Let's talk about it.
So, Zeke and I
I
were
didn't
talking.
make a roll yet.
Oh.
Zeke and I were talking,
Oh.
and so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get him to roll investigation, but he's gonna be rolling it and adding his charisma because as Kalimat would not necessarily be like sleuthing out the best wine. It would be like schmoozing and asking people and talking to people in the shops and getting opinions and using his social skills instead. So we're gonna do that. Now I'm gonna let Dan set the DC on this one. So Dan, how difficult do you think it will be for Kalimat to impress you with a bottle of wine?
I'm going to say probably for Ramus a DC 15.
Okay, sure.
He's hard to impress, I'd say. Fair.
Mm-hmm.
He's hard to impress, or he's a drunk and knows his alcohol. Either way, you can take it two ways.
So the way Kalimat, the way we can do this is since you don't have investigation like checked, just roll your charisma as a skill. So the word charisma on the left hand column, right above the 4. Just
That works.
Click.
Okay.
Yeah, just click that.
Okay.
Oh.
Fuck.
Oh, all right. So we'll play the scene out. We'll see how it goes. But Kalimat, you come back now. I'll let you decide this, Zeke. Do you just not decide? Are you just like, you know what? I'm not certain about this, and you keep it to yourself, or do you come back with something you think is going to be like good, and then it doesn't, and then Dan can show us how it doesn't work?
No, I think if Kalimat's smart enough to know if he can't please someone like with surety that he'll wait. There's time.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. So Kalimat returns the secret Impress Ramus plan, still on the burner. But yeah. So you come back and yeah, there is a quiet to the inn. Everybody is in study, resting, that sort of thing. So what do you do when you come back?
I'm going to collapse because I haven't slept.
Yeah, totally. It's like late afternoon, and you haven't slept since yesterday night before last. Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. So you just find a room and curl up, go sleep.
Just retire.
He goes back with his cheap bottle of wine and just like.
No, I grab like a roll and like a piece of meat and just like.
Nice. Okay. All right. So everybody spends the rest of the night then just kind of like alone in your rooms, and you get some sleep. So obviously recover to full health. You've had a long rest, all of that stuff. I think the night goes by directly uneventfully, but not entirely uneventful. I think each of you at some point or another is woken up by the sound of a couple of destitute, drug-addled people fighting in the alley behind the inn. You wake up to the sound of someone screaming and breaking glass. You wake up a few times. You end up getting your rest overall, but it's not. It's not entirely uninterrupted. It's a bad neighborhood.
All right. I'm going to use some hit dice then because I'm not at full.
No, you'll get your full from taking
sleeping.
a long rest.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thought
You got your
just
full
not-
stats on paper or on whatever, but you didn't feel good about it.
Yeah, if you wake up the next morning and you're fine, but you all kind of at breakfast there is kind of this feeling of like nobody really slept great, but you're all feeling okay. So you wake up the next day. You have one more day. Midnight tonight is when Inanna Ramus asked you to meet. Now you haven't told the others about this yet, have you?
No, I think that's what we're going to do is like they want to know everything that happened with the manor and the person we're going to. So we're going to like spend the morning going over the whole story of what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, I think our line of inquiry would be like asking about the manor. Why do you know so much about it? What happened on the manor? Is there anything else that's happened besides the manor here in town? And that's probably where you tell us about Inanna.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, then I go over like how we asked for 2 pieces of information. One was about the manor. We've completed that. And now the second piece of information was something she needs to tell me about myself. And we're going to go talk to her to get that information. without being too specific as to why.
Do you say that we're going to do you say the name Inanna?
Yeah, the wizard Inanna.
Okay. Adam, I would think that's kind of a big fucking deal, right?
Could be. It could be.
Your
I mean,
academic nerd boner.
Yeah.
Going.
The knowledge
you can roll
bonus through
a
the
you
roof.
can roll a history or arcana check.
Inanna?
They're both a 7. We'll stick to Arcana, I guess. Well, they're gonna give me. You're gonna tell me different things depending on which one I roll, right?
It's true.
I don't need to know how powerful she is. I just want to know who she is. So I guess that would be more history. So here's the history roll. 21. Not bad.
Nice. So as with many of these demigods, her history is somewhat lost to time. Some say she was merely the most beautiful mortal ever born. Others say she was someone who transcended her earthly form and took on a new one. But she is left long in the past. Her history. Her modern kind of incarnation, what people know about her is that the rumors among the lay folk is that you don't look at her. If you lay your eyes upon her, varying things might happen. Your soul withers up and dies. You drop dead instantly. You go blind. You've become her slave forever. That's like a key thing about all of it. It's just like never ever look at her.
Well, then let me interrupt you real quick. The first thing that I say when Ramus brings this up, or brings up the fact that we're gonna go see the Wizard Inanna, is I look at both of them and like super serious, super dead tone. Did you look at her?
Well, she was kind of wearing a veil. We didn't really see her direct face.
Okay. That is enough knowledge to know that they're not basically bringing us to her to kill us.
Right. As long as they're not ensorcelated. and
Right,
lying to
exactly.
you.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally. Because that's
Continue.
definitely a thing.
Yeah. What else do I know?
Yes, you don't look at her because she's crazy beautiful. She is known both for her her aspect as a wizardess of great beauty, supernatural beauty, but also for her ambition. She's a shit disturber as far as the other wizards go. Most of them have been allied with her at one point or another, but she cares only for her own power. And all the myths and stories about her, about people trading her for power, but getting used in a way they didn't realize. She's really smart, or eventually like being betrayed by her.
Okay.
And there's only ever one person ever in the history of all of these stories that you know, one person who has ever been able to like look upon her, and it was a god, one of the gods of heaven, whose name you don't remember or know, but you remember that he was a god of the stars or something like that, and the two of them were married for some time. But he died. He's dead, and that's a thing. So that's the history you know about Inanna.
Can I ask you questions or no? Is that just all?
Yeah,
I
if you
know?
want to, sure.
Does she have any other names?
Lots. All wizards have many names. Yeah.
Are these names like something that describe her personality, or just other names?
They tend to be epithets. So like Inanna, most beautiful, Inanna with eyes like ivory, like varying things like that. Her name translates in various languages, but they're always that kind of thing, like describing someone who's incredibly beautiful or whatever.
Okay. Everything else would probably be like Arcana rolls.
Yes. Yeah. You don't know much about like her magical doings, but yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as with all wizards of her power, she walks both in this world and all others.
Right.
That if you see her in person, you're maybe only seeing an aspect of her.
Do I know?
Sort of thing.
Tell me if this falls under Arcana, but do I know like how she acquired this power?
It's a lot lost to time.
Okay.
You know stories, but they're all multiple contradictory. Yeah.
Okay.
She hit level 20.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so after you say that, and I ask you, like, did you look at her? I think I also ask, why is it you wish to speak with her again? She is sometimes deceiving in nature, from what I've heard.
But she's also very knowledgeable about powers that most people here would not know about. If anyone would know about, like, I feel like something's been missing from me ever since I was resurrected, and I feel like she would have the answer as to why.
I look towards Bergen. And your interactions?
She was interested in me. Or what's going on inside of me. Gave me this. And then brings up the necklace that, was given to him by Inanna.
Yeah, and Sully, you looking at it, you can tell that it's like a wizard's sigil, right? It's hers. You recognize it.
Can I make an Arcana check to see if I can understand anything about it?
Yeah.
23.
Okay. It's the kind of simple object that one might cast a spell upon. It's not. I mean, you can't tell just by looking at it if it's enchanted or not, but there may be some magic to it.
Would it make sense that it's, or do I understand it enough to seem like it's a marker of some sorts?
I mean, it's just like the kind of thing you might turn into a magic item, right? Like it's obviously prepared to be amenable to spells being cast upon it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I think after you look at it too, Berg takes it back and looks at his arm and is like, I hope she can help with this.
Yes, I was going to get to that, but I suppose she might be able to make sense of it faster than I.
But as you've said, I know she can help, but I'm very leery about her. Everything she does seems to have hidden meaning or ulterior motive. She's very hard to read.
It is very rare that...
I wonder.
Well, it is very rare that people of that power act for others' well-being. I'm just kind of thinking at the ground.
Yeah, but unfortunately, she's the only one that I know to ask right now. The gods have been silent.
Do they ever speak?
Shut up. Well, they usually speak indirectly with thoughts, visions, memories, feelings. They're not very direct people.
Well, if you wish to go speak with her, we will gladly go with you. Kalimat, I would be very careful what you say and do in her presence. She's not one to be swayed by your words.
Have you ever known me to be any other way than cautious and careful? Maybe I could sneak in a question about possibly meeting someone of my own race, finding out a little bit more about myself.
A question answered by people of her nature means that you owe her something. Just be wary of that.
Oh, I don't mind being beholden, as long as the purse is worth it, if so to speak.
We had to bargain for anything we got out of her. We had to trade. So if you want answers, you need to trade her something that she would want.
Not my soul, right?
I lean into Colin. It's a touchy subject with him. Be careful next time. Did you have a place of meeting? How are you going to make contact with her?
We're supposed to go to this location and be there at midnight. And something will happen. She'll appear, or I don't know yet.
Well, is there anything else you three wish to do before we journey there?
I'm all set.
I'm ready. Let's have an adventure.
Wait. Before we go,
Mm.
you need to read us our fortunes. It's very important, Kalimat.
I'd love to. And you see like a light in his eyes, like, yeah, I can do this. I'm good at this.
Okay.
And maybe
All
you,
right.
you take the pack out and our actual fortunes, not those other cards that you keep handy. These are our friends. I feel comfortable talking about them.
All right. Well, shall we do it as a group? So the fortune of us as a party of 4. How does that sound?
Saves time.
All right, and you see Kalimat grab go back to his room, grab out a little ornate wooden box. It looks like it's very old. It's been carved with it's got vines and flowers and all that kind of stuff on it, and opens it up, grabs what looks to be like an old deck of tarot cards, and you can see like when he sits down, you all sit down. He beckons you to sit down at a table with him. You see him how like the skill he has with the cards. He practices like all the time when he's thinking or trying to sleep or whatever. He's doing card tricks. You can see the sleight of hand. He shuffles, one-handed, that kind of thing. And then he passes the cards around. All right. Each one of you take the deck of cards, shuffle it 3 times, and then pass it to the person on your left.
All right.
Do I do that?
So the cards that you're, because your deck will say a great deal about you as a fortune teller. You say that they're kind of worn, and that you touch them a lot, and so their edges are probably like quite soft.
Yes.
The images on the backs and fronts, for that matter, worn by them rubbing against each other and against your hands, so they're faded.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. Yeah. So there's a warmth to these cards. Now, are they ornate and baroque, or are they sort of rustic and colloquial? Like, where do you describe them generally? You don't have to describe the imagery or anything if you don't want to, but what?
They're rudimentary. They're like not manufactured in a big city. They are they are manufactured by like it looks like the colors were applied onto the card with like animal blood and like ochre and stuff you'd find out in nature. Things like that. And they look like some of the colors due to their chemical makeup may have run a little bit
Totally.
just from use and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can totally see that they're worn, that they're a little faded because he's been, using this same deck over and over again. He feels comfortable with it. Can you still hear me? Okay. Skype froze for a second. It's not super detailed. And it's not particularly well drawn, but it's all uniform. So it was done by one person's hand who has done this before.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. I like it. I have a good idea of what it looks like. So it moves around the group. And they each cut the deck and shuffle the cards and then pass it back to you. And what do you do? Are you going to sleight of hand and draw a specific card, or are you going to just let fate deal?
No, see that's the best part about it is that the best part about fortune telling period is that you can tailor the card to the person, or if you want to. But I think this particular time, since I'm not trying to grift him or get any money out of him, I'm gonna see if I can't let the cards kind of speak.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
And so there are, when you're doing these sorts of things, you can You can read for an individual. You can read for the relationship between two individuals. You could draw a single card or a group of cards for the group. Do you want to treat everyone as a single entity and your endeavors together as one thing?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
And do you want to do just a simple like one card? This is the thing that is most looking over us, or do you want to do like a 3-card, like the thing from the past, a thing to be present of, and then a thing in the future?
Yeah, like a 3-card spread.
You wanna do the
Actually,
three?
a 4-card spread I had in mind.
Okay, sure. All right. Do you have your cards there? Do you want to do it IRL, or do you want me to use the digital ones?
No, I got my cards here.
You got them? Okay, cool. So let me pull up the deck. You can draw a card, and then I'll place it on the table for everyone to look at.
Perfect.
Is this the first time we've done drawing? No, you did it too, didn't you, in the live show?
No, we never drew cards or anything in the live show.
No, I flipped
Never
one.
mind. You can hear me. Just continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is the first time.
All right. So go ahead and draw a card, and let me know what it is, and I'll see if I can find it.
Okay. So you look at him. You look at Calumet. He does his 3 shuffles, and then he cuts it one time, and pulls up the first card. The first card represents the group, the state we're in, and it is the sun inverted.
Okay.
And I just have a little booklet here that I'm gonna just kind of glance at here. Let's see here.
The sun inverted. Hey, Ramus, look familiar?
The sun, yeah, the sun inverted means loss of clarity, disappointment, or gloom.
Check.
Yep.
So that's us as a group right now. We don't have clarity. We're in search of it, and that's our present state right now. The next card represents the journey.
Okay.
The journey to that, and it is the Fool.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
The Fool right side up, and it's
Well, it's not good.
no, the Fool's not that bad. It's poised for adventure, passionate, initiative. It represents initiative.
So
So-
far,
Roll initiative.
Yeah, roll initiative.
I'm sorry, it's hard to tell with this hotel internet. I don't know.
All right, so the fool also represents beginnings of something new. It's a good card to get when you are beginning a new endeavor. It's the arcana that we pray to when children are born, when we start new business endeavors, when we begin something new. The fool, we hope, is there with us.
Mm-hmm. The third card is what crosses our journey. It's our obstacle, maybe a boon, maybe a threat, something like that. But this is laid like it lays across the journey, and it is the Hanged Man.
Oh boy, look at all these major arcana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Okay.
The fuck is laying in our future?
Trials, sacrifice, and surrender. So my guess is that we might have to sacrifice something. We might have to surrender something. This might be costly to us. This journey might make us. We might have to bleed for it. We might have to, pay gold. We might have to do something like that. We have something we have to sacrifice during this journey. And then the last one is the outcome. The outcome is the Three of Wands.
Interesting. Okay.
And the Three of Wands, hold on one second here.
Yeah, it's gonna take me a second to find it too.
Yep.
Threes
Three of
generally.
And the last card represents what esoteric outcome. Fruition, accomplishment, enterprise, effort, and partnership.
Yeah. So in terms of like partnership, this is like if you are willing to make the sacrifices necessary in your journey, what will come from it won't necessarily be like a big bag of gold or some concrete thing, but a new alliance made. Which, if you're looking at your journey into meeting with Inanna, it might mean that you will become partners or allies with her. That's a possibility in your future.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Do you interpret everything you just said to us in the same way in game, in character?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Yep. Yeah. So basically, the story goes, the story the cards have revealed. We are in search of clarity. That is where we stand right now. The journey, it's the start of something. What our path will entail is something that is leading to something bigger that we might not even know of. And it will require a sacrifice. I don't know from each of us. I don't know if it's from individual or group sacrifice. I don't know what the sacrifice will entail. And then a partnership will be the outcome. Might be a good partnership, might be a bad partnership. But that's the journey. That's where we are. And that's why the cards aren't specific. So you can read into it what you will.
Yeah,
But
so
I choose to be enthusiastic.
So cosmologically, the tarot as a set of symbols for humans represents access to the will of the arcana. So when you're laying out your fortune, it isn't so much like, now you can be ready for this. It's more like, this is what the gods intend for us. This is the path set out before us. Some people use fortune telling to make decisions so that they don't anger the arcana, so they don't like risk the ire of the gods. Some use it to be prepared for what the god's intent is. But this isn't just, this is what might happen. This is like, you may not understand it, but this is the path that you will take as long as you go in accordance with the arcana. Yeah. They teach children that feeling that you have where you're like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do it my way. That's a bad feeling. That's the Mara whispering in your ear, trying to guide you to away from the gods, right? So yeah. So this is both blessing and benediction, prediction of the future, and also the path you are meant to take.
Mm-hmm.
I think Sally Hoffa definitely agrees and looks at the cards and all that, but he's also super interested in how people react to when cards are drawn, because that sometimes seems to be more telling of the actual situation than perhaps what is the situation potentially to become. So like the second that the sun inverted is drawn, knowing kind of Ramus's past, I look directly at Ramus to see how he takes that card being drawn. So what sort of reaction do you have, Dan?
You see like a wince, like a slight snarl at the sun, because the sun abandoned me at my most dire need.
The sun inverted is straight up the tarot calling you out. It's straight up just like the gods being like, Ramus, we see you. We see you. Stop. No,
Remember your past.
Yeah, like it's a blazing mark of your failure to the gods, right? Your change in path, your death, like all of that. Yeah, and that wince, that kind of like that's appropriate, because that's very much what the symbology here would be. And Berg, you and Ramus would both immediately recognize that to be the case.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any like strong physical reactions, whether it's just on your face or actual physical movement to any of the cards that I would pick up on potentially?
Once the Fool was drawn, my eyes darted Berg. Like it just went right there. Like,
Okay.
You probably hear when the Three of Wands is the last card is drawn. I might say something like I don't know, like cheeky, I guess would be a good description of it about Ayana, or what's her name? Inanna.
Inanna.
I might say something cheeky like, Partnership. You said she was beautiful, did you not?
Yeah. Okay. That's probably the card that has the most reaction from me as well. More because a partnership with her is usually bad, and because they have something over our heads. People of that nature.
Yeah,
So,
I mean part of the story
at least
too,
that's how
though,
I
is like
perceive it. But yeah.
there's the flip. I mean, for you and the way your character that I know your character is, this wouldn't be something, but there is definitely that the idea too that like, yes, I suppose you could live another 40 or 50 years, or you could spend one night with the beautiful Inanna and then give up on your life forever. Like that, it'd still be
Right.
worth it.
Right. And that's why when that's drawn, like I think of the people that would react strongly to such a thing, and so I'm pretty fearful. But
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. So tell us read our fortune, and then I think we go on our way to the meeting, probably after dinner or something like that. 'Cause you said it was midnight.
Okay. All right. So you, I think we probably fade from the shot of the table with the cards, the kind of moment afterwards, everyone looking at each other, reflecting on what they had seen. We have that stillness, and we fade out, and we fade back in on the southern gate of the city of Brass. Now, as I mentioned before, the city of Brass is. And it doesn't sleep. Night matters little to the traffic that comes and goes from these gates, and so there are. We see like an elephant caravan pulling a bunch of wagons. We see folk coming and going. In fact, because it's nighttime and it's starting to get cool, people are out more. There are people who would have stayed in during the day when it was hot, who have now come out to do their business. There are people gathered about the gates, and we see someone, arguing with a customs agent. And as we pan across the crowd, we find the four of you approaching. So yeah, maybe you're talking about what the plan is. Like, how will you know what to do, Ramus? What are you telling them? Like, because you have this tablet, by tablet.
Well, we stand here, and then we will know at midnight what to do. I promise. She's very powerful and stuff, but I don't know. She wasn't very specific. I'm sorry. I don't have any more information. I'm supposed to be here.
She tends to do that.
Yeah, right. The last time we went to look for her tower was gone, and there was a pig farm where it was. That's
Yeah,
right.
if
No.
you look over here and there's suddenly a big ass tower, then you know she's here.
How big is that tablet that you're showing us?
Size of a large coin.
Okay.
It's like,
Does it have like her symbol on it, or what is?
Yeah.
Can you just? Okay,
So,
it does.
Yeah,
got
it's
the
a
M.
round clay tablet with the cuneiform sort of mark embedded in it.
Okay.
How do you spell Inanna?
I-N-A.
an I, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I-N-A-N-N-A.
It's just like a big fucking eye, like a logo. Inanna.
Inanna Corp.
Yeah.
TM.
It's a tiny R.
So I think I asked Ramus if I could see the tablet, but probably as I'm studying it in the attempt to make eventually an Arcana check, it hits midnight, so I
Sure.
don't necessarily get that to happen. What
Yeah.
does anything occur right away?
No. I think as you approach the gate, maybe someone bumps into you. Ramus is like, out of the way, and like pushes past you with his friends. They head out into the city, and there's a crowd, and you just sort of blend in. No one seems to notice or care. And yeah, midnight comes. The moon hangs in a starless sky, and the susurrus of the crowd continues.
I wait at least 10 or 15 seconds. I think we all do, kind of waiting for a tower to
Right,
appear
holding
or
your breath,
something.
waiting for magic.
Yeah, then it doesn't.
I try holding up the thing to the sunlight, the moonlight, to see if that does something, or
Yeah.
aim it
Yeah,
at the gate. Like,
Nope.
Let me see the tablet. Take it. I'll actually roll an Arcana check on it. See if I can
Sure.
see what's happening. 24.
Okay. Yeah. So just like
Wasting
Berg's
these rolls.
just like Berg's
Yeah, I know, right?
pendant, it seems to be not magical in and of itself, but receptacle for potential magic.
Were you told to say anything or perform any action with this by
No,
whoever it
just
was?
Just said bring me and Berg here at this time, and Anana would be here.
Well, perhaps the directions are clear. Maybe me and Kalimat are not welcome.
That's possible. But I don't think she could pick you two out amongst all these other people around us. Is anything around here different from last time we were here?
The people, right? Because it's a just constant stream of people in and out. The gate itself seems normal. It's big stone walls that surround the city proper, but in another 100 years, this will just be another middle wall of the city, right? You can already see, the temporary buildings outside the city wall starting to be made less temporary. It's just this mighty defensible gate, though nobody ever attacks the city of Brass, and big stone archway.
Nobody
out-
yet.
Out into the desert. That's true. Nobody yet.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
but-
shit going on in the world.
So you look out through the gates and you see the desert beyond, the great blackness of the sky, and everything here is illuminated either by torchlight from the guards or from people walking with lanterns, or from the silver light of the moon above.
I turn towards Kalimat and say, there's a way perhaps you could draw her attention, but I don't know if we should say such a thing. It might invoke her wrath.
Are you suggesting that maybe I sing her a song?
Perhaps.
I don't know if any of that would work. I'm not completely familiar with well, I wasn't there when she gave instructions, so I'm just wondering, is she just tardy or is she just absent?
Wizards are stupid.
I turned to him very quickly and abruptly and just kind of stared at him. You don't mean
Berg
that.
just says that like to the air. Like,
Right, you're trying to provoke her.
exactly right. Yeah, that's like Berg's interpretation. He's like, well, I'll try something. He just kind of holds that in the air. He's like, eh.
I turned very abruptly, not understanding what you're getting at. I understand. But perhaps you're going about that the wrong way. And I turn and just kind of like look out into the desert and say, she can't be that pretty, can she? I just kind of like sit there and wait.
Yeah. You get a look. Someone just kind of like looks at you as they walk by, like, who's this person talking about?
Do I just look like a crazy fucking turtle person?
You look, yeah, because you got your hood up, right? Like you're under. They're like, who is this hunchback talking to?
Adam, I would like to try to remember like what his exact words were that he said to me.
I think that he just said to meet you here. Like I think you've got it. Like you're not missing any crucial information.
Well, we could try walking through the gate. Maybe it's a portal. I don't know. Just touch me as I hold out the amulet. We'll walk forward together. We'll look stupid, but it might work.
That might work.
She could be watching right now
Well,
and laugh.
creatures of
Well,
that
it wouldn't
power
be the
are
first
always
time.
watching.
Wouldn't be the first time I was laughed at. Whip out the amulet.
Everyone grab onto me and we're going to walk through the gate holding out the amulet.
I'll go last. I kind of step towards the back of the group and put up my hand
Okay.
on whoever's shoulder is in front of me.
So Ramus, you're gonna go first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So again, a couple more kind of looks of like what are these fools doing as the group of you all kind of like move forward as a unit. You reach the archway, which is enormous, right? Like it's wide enough that like 6 elephants could walk shoulder to shoulder through it. And as you approach, what do you do? So you're like a few steps before the.
I hold out the amulet. I'm like, And I'm thinking in my head, Anana, we're here. Anana, we're here. As we're just walking.
ringing the psychic doorbell.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you lead with your hand. Okay. So when your fingertips and the amulet reach the edge of the sort of line between the two edges of the archway, you feel the difference first, in that you expect, as I'm sure is normal, you would expect that your hand would remain the same humidity and temperature as the rest of your body, but it's like sticking your hand into like warm water or hot water. You can feel like a tingling on your skin. There's a sudden change in humidity, and from your hand when you touch it, ripples in the air kind of like flutter out to the edges, and people are still walking past you like, what the hell are you doing? Like nudging their way around you. But for you and for the other three, you can see that as the ripples unfold, the gate now no longer leads out into the desert. Beyond, you see a beautiful, lush, sunlit stone garden. So a hanging garden. There are vines draped down, blue like lapis tiles on the floor. You can see a fountain kind of playing off in the distance, and all limned in beautiful sunlight from above. And this all just kind of ripples out from you. No one else seems to notice. We can see people walking back and forth through this. Someone walks into it and disappears beside you.
It's like the animus, yo.
Yeah.
She loves being flashy, by the way, if you can't tell.
I believe this perhaps predates her. I did read that portals exist in this city. This may be one of them. Anyways, let's not waste time. Let's continue. It might close any moment.
Yeah, make sure you hold on to me as we pass through, just in case.
And I actually take a turn, like I go towards the back, and I have like my hands behind my back, and I'm grabbing onto Ramos with one hand, and my other hand is free, and I say to anybody who's looking, and now I will make all of us disappear.
You probably see like a hand come out and just drag you into.
Right. And so you get pulled in, and we stay outside, right? We just see you vanish, and there's two guards standing there. One of them, they're both watching as you disappear, and one of them looks at the other one and is like, "Did you see that?" And the other one nods, and he says, "I did." And then he says, "What was that?" "I don't know. Unlicensed magician." He nods. He says, "We'll get him when he comes back." And so the group of you step through. Now on the other side, this is where the soundtrack would change. We can now hear water flowing. We can hear birds, like tropical birds, in the background. The air is humid and fragrant. There are enormous flowers sprouting from vines and trees all around you, and you appear to be in some kind of like jungle temple. The floor is a mixture of ivory and lapis tiles, and there's greenery everywhere. In your hand, Ramus, where once was the tablet, there is now a small creature about the size of like a chick, like a baby chicken. It seems to be like a rodent of some kind, but it has tiny little like bird's wings, and it flaps its wings a couple of times, yawns once dramatically, and then flutters out of your hand. And you, what do you all do when you snap into this new place?
I
kind of just looks around, studies.
I'm immediately turning around and trying to understand the portal that we walk through, as it were, the structure that we walk through.
So you turn around and look behind you, and there's a long pathway that leads to more garden. There's like a path that leads off, and you are standing under a trestle of some kind of metal, much smaller than the gate, but a trestle of metal overrun with vines that grow tiny white flowers. And you look, and the flowers nearest you, because they're on your side, they come down the trestle. One of the flowers, you look into it, and instead of I don't know what part of the flower is, the inside part of the flower, instead of a flower part, it has a tiny skull little skull shape, made out of pollen.
For some reason in my head, I just like went, like the typical cartoon, like the one pill makes you
Oh, yeah.
laugh. It just starts talking to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I if you want me to use the spell, I will. But I'm trying to discern if we're in a different plane via magic, or if we've been transported across the globe.
There is no way that your physical senses will be able to answer that for you.
Okay. But well, I guess I'll cast detect magic with the idea of trying to understand if everything in this area is magical, or if a certain thing, structure, whatever in this area is magical.
Okay. So you cast the spell, and it's detect magic, right? You have it prepared.
Yeah. Well, it's a
so
ritual.
So it takes 10 minutes for you to cast it. So you're
Yeah.
gonna stay here and cast it for 10 minutes.
Unless I'm interrupted, yeah.
Yeah, you absolutely will be interrupted. There's no way you're going to be able to stand here for 10 minutes before anything
Okay,
else
well,
happens.
that's what I start doing.
Okay. Yeah. So you start
Well,
preparing
I'm doing it.
Yeah, I'm doing it, Adam.
And yeah, I mean, within a few seconds, within like 30 seconds or so, you'll get interrupted. But that's Sully's reaction. Ramus and Berg and Kalima, what do you do when you so Ramus, let's start with you. You step forward, the tablet seems to have turned into a strange bird and flies away. What do you do?
Good.
My first reaction is try to grab it, like the thing. I was like, I'm not sure if I needed to get back out, so like I try to reach for the creature that flew away.
Okay. Sure. Make a dexterity save.
14.
Okay. Yeah.
That's pretty
you
good.
reach out and you grab it. You feel it in your palm. And so you get a hold of it, snap out and reach it, and then what do? You can feel it like squirming around trying to get out of your hand. It's not biting you or anything. It's like warm and kind of squishy. Soft.
I guess I hold it out to Calamat. I'm like, what is this?
So when you open your hand to show it to Calamat, you're holding honeycomb, a piece of dark blue honeycomb that's dripping this sort of sapphire honey into your hand. And when you hold it out to Calamat, 6 tiny wasps climb out of the little holes in it and fly away, each buzzing at a different note. And played all together, they resonate some sort of deja vu in your head, Calamat. You're like, you've heard that sound of those notes played at that frequency before. But only for a second before the bees like buzz off.
That might be what breaks me from my spell, because that's fucking not normal.
I'm sorry, I missed what was making the sound.
The bees, the little like
The wasp,
the jeweled wasps that come out of the honeycomb he's holding. Each one hums a specific part of the scale, and they play a chord.
Oh, okay.
As they fly out.
Creepy.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
interrupting.
beautiful.
So
yeah.
From here, just as like just as a flavor, I guess.
Sure.
You like from here till whenever you hear him humming that from time to time. He can't get out of his head.
Trying to replicate the chord.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, remembering the 6 notes. Cool. Okay.
Well,
I think Berg took off.
Oh, sorry.
Berg just like takes off his like the little thing that was around him, just to see if we can like skip past this trickery and flashiness.
So you reach into your shirt and you take it out, and it's not just like a simple clay thing anymore. The leather that was holding it around your neck has become a fine platinum chain, and the pendant is now a red stone, like a garnet or maybe a ruby, about the size of the end of your thumb, so sizable, and it glitters in the sunlight.
Berg just holds it out, looks at it.
Ramus.
Where did you get that? It's gorgeous.
You see this too, yes?
Yeah, where did you steal that?
No. This was what she gave me. It changed.
She just gave me a magical flying honeycomb. You get all the good stuff.
Yeah, take it. I don't care.
Oh, okay.
As I see them kind of being amazed at such a simple thing, I speak up and say, do you not understand the power it takes to create such a place? To be in awe of that and to completely forget and ignore everything else around us is foolish.
A voice breaks your pacing like out of nowhere. Like she was standing here the whole time, or maybe she just walked up really silently. But yeah, you hear a woman's voice say, Inanna did not make this place, but she is mistress of it. She found it, floating in the void, and made it for her husband. You have come to a mourning place. And as you all turn and as the camera focuses on this person, we can see she's approaching you. She's about, I don't know, 9 or 10 feet tall, very thin. She's wearing some kind of elaborate plate armor made out of maybe highly polished silver or glass, reflecting in some strange way. If you look at it at certain angles, you can see the tabard, the white tabard she's wearing underneath. She's wearing all white otherwise. She's barefoot, but has cloth wrapping her ankles and like the arches of her feet, but her toes and her heels touch the ground. She has skin the color of like a daisy. So it's like yellow in the sort of rainbow spectrum of yellow, not like olive or whatever. It's like clearly, obviously not human skin. Also, she's like 10 feet tall. Her head is sort of elongated at the back, like it's larger in the back, and her features are all sort of stretched, and her eyes are just black pools. You notice that the only thing about her that doesn't appear to be like perfectly kept, right? Every fold of her tunic, every piece of her armor is perfect and immaculate, except she has a scar or a series of scars on her face that originate from the side of her head and then kind of whirl around on her face, places where the skin is darker. And at her hip.
One question about the scars. Do they look ritualistic or do they like made there on purpose?
Hard to tell.
Okay.
They look. I can tell you though, they don't look like knife or claw like scars. They look like burn or like acid. Scars. She is also carrying at her hip, sheathed, a very long curved sword with a ruby or a spinel or something in the pommel, and she's just like standing there.
Curved swords?
Yes, curved swords. But this one's huge. This is like she would have to. It's like 4 feet long. It's enormous. So so she tells you, like, she's talking to you, Sully. She says, Inanna did not make this place; she found it.
I think I turned. And
I'll step forward. He starts stuttering. I just step forward.
Well, I mean,
Okay.
I'm trying to think of like action wise. I think I turned and probably just dropped to one knee. If he's gonna turn real quick or do his action, that's what I do. I just turn and drop to one knee.
Berg attacks him. I'm just kidding.
And she has not said anything about her name or anything like that, right? The person in front of us.
She hasn't introduced herself. She just like observed, like, hey, actually, let me correct you.
Okay. I do. I'm sorry. The Transformers Universal Greeting just went through my head for some reason. Ba weep, gra na weep, mini
It
bong.
would not be the first time that has happened.
Right. No, I do a deep bow as best I can. My name is Calumet. And these are my compatriots. We are here expected as a meeting.
She nods, and I think before she speaks, 'cause I don't want to get into that. Let's take our break here.
Okay.
Okay.
We just
We linger on her face, her perfect like black eyes, and we see the group of you reflected in her eyes as you introduce yourself.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, let's take
Cool.
our final break. We'll be right back with more quarter stories. Right after this, we'll see you in just a little bit.